As 2014 wrapped up, it prompted one 2 News viewer to wonder, why don't fiscal years sync up with the calendar year?
It's a good question, and when you ask a good question, we give it to Matt Gephardt, who on Fridays searches for the good answer. Matt?
Yeah, Christina, this coming to me from a viewer named Mary in Provo, who, like the rest of us, is gathering her W-2s and her receipts right now, getting all that stuff prepared to send into the IRS, preparing their tax returns. But Mary also does a little bit of accounting business, and she's noticed that oftentimes she's doing business with companies that don't wrap up at the end of a calendar year, don't end on December 31st. Businesses have fiscal years that end pretty much any day of the year. So why the discrepancy? Why would a business do that? Let's see. The certified public accountants at Klingler Associates are getting ready for a rush. A new year brings a new tax season. Owner Ken Klingler says they do prepare tax returns for individuals, though his company's primary focus is preparing the books for small businesses. And it is not tax time for all companies. Some companies operate on what's called a fiscal year.
So a fiscal year is when a company elects a financial reporting period that's something other than just our regular calendar year.
Klingler says that the vast majority of companies do have a fiscal year that jives with the calendar year, ending at midnight on December 31st because it's just easier and cheaper. But companies do not always have to. Here in Utah, Klingler says there are several companies that choose to end their reporting years in the middle of the summer because ending in the middle of winter would be bad for business. If businesses that rely on snow being on the ground were forced to end their fiscal years right in the middle of the winter and ski season, it would make it very tough to budget, plan, and invest.
We wouldn't be able to look back and say 2014 or 2015 was a good year, because it could have been the second half of one year and the first half of the other. So for those companies, it does make sense to elect a fiscal year end.
Yeah, and no matter what fiscal year a company chooses, be it December 31st, be it some other day of the calendar year, they must stick with it. Once they've selected it, they have to stick with it. As far as the IRS is concerned, unless they seek out special permission from the IRS to switch it up, they got to stick with that calendar year, starting and ending the same time every single year. Thank you, Mary, for the good question. If you have one, hit me up on KUTV.com. More answers next Friday. Christina?
All right. Thanks for giving us the answer, Matt.
Yeah.